perfect.
Absolutely, brother. And then I got a selection of cigars for you, brother. This is well, let's talk about the cigar that I made for some people. Here's a new SP 1014 Silver Toro.
Oh, did you hear that, Kara? The new SP 1014 Silver.
Yeah, Ryan, I could hear that very clear from here as we watch you get all
one of
these
my
goodies.
cigars that I made for Casa 1910.
Hey, Care, when do people come over to our place and give us cigars?
So the new Casa 1910, awesome, love it, love Casa 1910.
The neighbors.
I think you should start having studios by you.
Our Habano Robusto and our Robusto Maduro.
Oh, right on.
So we got a lot of cigars.
The neighbor kid comes over and gives me a walkie-talkie. That's all I get.
So we'll give you our address and send all that over to us too.
You're breaking up there, Ryan. I can't hear you.
What a dick. What a dick.
So have a seat.
Have a seat.
Footstool there for you.
Oh, nice, man.
I know you're a little.
You read my mind, brother.
We got some headphones there for you.
Yeah. Fix that up real quick. All right.
There's your mic. Get yourself
test 1 2. Test 1 2.
That's it. And then Art Garcia. What is that? Last time we talked to you after that, I think after that or before that, there was like a name change because there's some trademark issues. What's the official name of the company?
It's Segovia's Destill Cigars.
All right.
Which has a lot of meaning in Nicaragua for Segovias. And our cigars were already called Segovias when we released Antigua Esteli. So it was back then, it was Antigua Esteli, and the line of the cigar was called Segovias by Antigua. But now it's Segovia's Destill, all completely by Segovias. Camera.
Yeah, the camera's on the left, right.
Oh,
there.
nice.
So
nice.
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
How you doing?
Carabajante, what up?
Ryan, have you had Art on your show yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so Ryan, so this is Ryan Miller, the Rocky.
Hey, Ryan, show. What's up, brother? How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
He's our one of our guests tonight here, so we'll definitely get you guys connected afterwards. He has his own show as well, so you guys can get hooked up here.
Hey, Kev, are you ready to do the Cigar Medics humidimeter cut and light? Or did you have some housekeeping?
As soon as I wish you happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday tomorrow, Care.
So, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. I don't celebrate birthday months.
Yeah.
So I can say that I don't do that, but I do appreciate the acknowledgement. It's very, very, very sweet of you. Thank you.
So let's get right. Actually, I do. No, hold on, Care. I do have one.
Oh, sweet Jesus! Don't steal my thunder, Kevin. God damn it!
I know. And
I don't have much, Kevin. Don't have much.
I can't. I'm in. I don't know how to get out of dark mode on StreamYard. They changed things, so now I can't click on anything. So I got to give away some cigars on Instagram. I'm just gonna pick it. Here's the winners. Johnny Intro Nuovo. All right. Won this week. So Art's my person here that verified. So
there you go. He's your
Johnny,
witness.
Johnny.
I'm the witness.
That's what you call
it. We trust you, Art. We trust you.
There you go.
Let's get right into it, Care.
All right, cool. Well, hold on for a second here.
Hold on, Care. I got something to say. No, I'm just totally kidding.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I'm used to it. I won't say anything bad about anybody, but I'm used to it. But let's get right into the Cigar Medics humidimeter cut and light. Remember, with the Cigar Medics humidimeter, you'll always know when to hold them, and you'll always know when to smoke them. So let's start at the bottom of the screen, not at the bottom of the list, with Ryan. What are you smoking this evening, and where does your Cigar Medics humidimeter have you?
So I lit mine a little earlier, but mine had me at 67 when I tested it. Somebody gave this to me at Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, and I just been playing around with it. It's kind of a fun little toy. But I am smoking the brand new release from Sagrado called the Breathless.
Very nice. Very nice.
Right on. Was that what the name of it is? He wouldn't tell us the name when we had him on the show.
No, that's one that you're thinking of is probably the new one. Okay. That one I have in the humidor. But yeah, that one he hasn't released the name out publicly yet.
Very nice.
It's very, very
Nice.
What do you got? You got a mic on your headphones now, Ryan?
Yeah, well, it's better than having it across my face.
Yeah.
The
You know,
only-
plus, you're
the
always
only-
all over the place. And you always.
Oh
you're
my
doing-
gosh,
Yeah,
dude!
yeah.
I move. I'm constantly headbutting the microphone. But I wanted it to be on this side, so unfortunately, it doesn't rotate back and around. So
That kind of reminds me of a gamer's headset.
it's exactly what it is. It's a
Okay.
very, very overpriced gaming
Nice.
headset that I found another use for.
That's what I did.
Very
I got one. Like I got one at a old gamer headset. But Kevin, what about yourself, my friend?
I am. I just. Mine is at 64%, which is absolutely perfect for me. And I am smoking the box press Maduro from R.o.c.f.cig, Segovia de Esteli. And that's what I'm enjoying tonight. Art, which one did you light up?
Same one, brother.
Yeah.
You know,
Very
so you guys know this cigar has been aged in my humidor for 3.8 years, brother. Since we opened the cigar factory, Tabacalera Segovias in Esteli, this is when we made the cigars. Until this year, finally they got released.
Wow.
Right on.
Beautiful.
And Karen, and what are you smoking, Karen? Oh, the vice versa.
Vice versa. I heard about that cigar.
Hello. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna cut it in half or if I'm gonna smoke it from one end or the other. But it's
I glued Steve Saka's face on that. That was actually
you what?
He's laughing at that.
reading my cigar aficionado, and I saw him rub his hand over the face, and like I glued Steve Saka's face on there.
Now I'm at a 61%.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect. Yep.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah, I keep seeing and almost every day in like the cigar connoisseur group, people just battling. I can't get my cigars to 70%. I can't get them. Like, don't.
Good.
You know, yeah, good. You know, I know Nick Melillo, Foundation Cigars. I know on his broadleaf, he likes to smoke it as close to 70%,
Yeah.
you know, as he can. He says broadleaf smokes a little bit better at a 70%, but me personally, I'm happy if the cigars between 60 and 64%.
Yeah.
As a manufacturer, what would you say?
I like smoking around 64 all the way up to 72. Depends the environment.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with those numbers.
Yeah.
Well, broadleaf is like the kale of tobacco leaves. So like you'd want that to be a little bit denser because it's a little thicker, in my opinion.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'd want that to be a little bit higher on the humidity side just for flexibility within that thickness of the leaf. Am I wrong in that thought?
No.
I don't
Art?
think you're wrong.
Art?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was hoping Art was going to jump in. I should have said Art. Am I wrong in that train of thought?
So
It's like,
sorry about that.
No.
So I train my girls at the factory, my administrator and my wife. Every time they go in the humidor and right in the morning, they take that what's it called?
The humidimeter.
The humidimeter, which they sponsor us over there at the trade show. They gave me like 3 of them, right? So these girls go in there and they go in the humidor and they start looking at the humidity of almost 4 or 5 cigars. Then they'll be able to tell how the temperature is in the room, besides all the other ones that I have all over the place. But we use that a lot as well. It's a very good machine to have.
definitely.
Before we move on, we got to take a moment to thank all of our partners for making this show happen each and every week. Thank you to JC Newman Cigars, Cigar Medics, Amendola Cigars, We Are the Muscle, Illusione Cigars, Deep in Flavor, Deep in Your Mind, Corona Cigar, and of course, Drew Estate and Experience Acid.
Nice.
And I didn't click on my video. Where are we at? Intro. There we go. Is labor and what
What are you doing?
there? Did you click off that or did I click off that?
Shit. I didn't do it.
That-
Wasn't me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Tampa. It's in Ybor City.
That's where you were that yesterday.
Yeah. So, all right, Ryan. What are you pairing? You held up a bottle there a little bit ago. What are you pairing your cigar with tonight?
So I have, I'm a bourbon, whiskey, Scotch guy. Outside of the one rum and one gin that I've had, that I've been able to actually enjoy. So almost dropped the bottle, but I am drinking the Axe and the Oak cask strength.
Ooh,
but I will say this, just because this is downright the best rum I've ever had in my entire existence, and I can't say that says a lot because I haven't had a ton, but the rum I've had, I have not liked. This is actually really good.
The from La Aurora.
Yeah, this is adult candy in the best way. There's no bite. It is.
What country is that from?
This is all Dominican, and they do 2 different barrels.
Really?
And my buddy brought over another bottle, equivalent dollar value. I think it's like $125.
Wow.
My buddy brought over another bottle, equivalent price, and it just did not feel the same. It didn't have that sweetness to it. It was actually, it drank more like a bourbon. Not that it was bad, but it wasn't what I was expecting after having that. That's all.
See, in Nicaragua, we like drinking Flor de Caña. And for cigars, I like drinking the 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
Where some people like Skip Martin, he likes drinking 12 years Flor de Caña. I said, bro, why you keep drinking? That tastes like like Coke and rum, right? He's like, all right, this is the drink, right? And I said, nah, dude, I like the 18 one. I like the 12. So it kind of varies. So that's what happens with rum. You know, when you change it to a bigger, more aged rum to a less aged rum, it totally changes.
It does. I've got some Bacardi 12-year over there, which is, I think it's, and then I have an 8-year that was in an orange sherry cask from Bacardi. That is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Kara, what are you pairing your cigar with tonight?
Water. Yeah. I had some bourbon yesterday evening. Nice. We got our son Joe's going to Flagler in St. Augustine, Florida, and there's a St. Augustine distillery down there that is incredible. So we got some vodka that's actually produced. It's sugarcane based vodka, and yeah, it's really good. And they have some bourbon that's outstanding as well.
Do they distill? Because I was just at a distillery up in Tampa, because we're going to be working with this distillery on an upcoming Trash Panda Cigars project. And I learned something, that the majority of all distilleries that produce a vodka, they start off with somebody else's. Yeah. Like 99% of the companies out there don't produce their own vodka. They start it, and then they distill it to their method, or whatnot.
Yeah. They do theirs. Apparently they have like 3 or 4 locations only that actually where they can get the sugarcane. It's like Hawaii, Texas, and like Alaska. It's the guy was going through the whole process of the areas where everything is cultivated and everything is processed. And I was pretty impressed that I didn't realize that the history of this distillery is the first distillery to produce bourbon after Prohibition.
Wow. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Florida. Wow.
Yeah,
so nice.
They got some. I got a bourbon that was finished in sherry cask. It's like 109 proof. And they got and Ryan, if you like bourbon, we were down there. They had this the bourbon brunch place. Yeah, bourbon and brunch, right? That goes hand in hand. And it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and they did bourbon flights for $60, 4 flavors, 4 different bourbons, and they were heavy pouring that day. So we moved Joe into the dorms. It was a good move.
When we were up at the distillery in Tampa, like they also make their own beer. So they have a distillery for their they distill their own. They have their own vodkas, but they bring it in. But their rums they distill themselves. But they also do a bunch of wild beers.
Nice.
And then Jessica saw this one really cool can. Oh, we should buy this and send it to Care. I go, I'm not buying a can of beer and sending a single can of beer you know, what am I going to pack that nice ice cold in the cooler? Like, what am I going to do with this? You can't let it get warm and send it to him.
Send the cooler to him.
Yeah.
You want to tell me anything else that you didn't send me that you're not going to send me? Anything else you want to throw on that list?
Well, not that he
Add
just
cigars,
said it to
fucking
you,
beer.
but Jessica thought of you, and he said, no.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Shut it
surprised.
down.
How long ago was
Yeah.
that, Cubs? I think if Jessica was to send me anything, she'd spit in it first and then send it to me.
Yeah, it was. I think about 3 weeks ago we were up at the distillery talking with them. So
Wow.
yeah, super cool project we're working on with some rum.
Good.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
Well.
I can't wait. Ryan, last week I didn't catch the show, and I really wanted to, and I hadn't seen the replay yet. You had on Antu from JM Cigars on your show. How cool is that guy? And how cool is that company?
Really interesting guy, interesting company. And I really hope that he takes it to the levels that I think he can. I mean, the Year of the Dragon's a really good cigar. The Espanola, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. Connecticut and Maduro, those are really good as well. I loved his backstory. I liked the history with his father coming in. And yeah, I thought overall he's a really down-to-earth guy. I actually got to meet him in person at Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I was talking with Abe down at Smoke Inn. We were a couple weeks ago. It was after our interview with him, and talking with Abe. You know, he asked who we interviewed lately, and I told him, and he goes, "Jam, the guy with the brightly colored boxes." And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "We used to sell the shit out of those cigars." He goes, "I don't know why we stopped." You know, it's like one of those things. So hopefully that spurred him into maybe bringing those back. But yeah, super cool guy.
I will say I'm looking forward to him making that brand his. Right now, so much of that brand is his father.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Espanolas, like there's the first line of cigars they put out until the JM Dominican line. And so it's from 96, and I told that to Antu, I said, bring something out that's yours. Bring something out that revitalizes the company. Don't just rebrand an old line.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does.
Cool.
Yeah, hopefully he does something super cool, maybe something funky, something new age, but I don't know. So we'll see where the company goes. We had an anniversary this past Saturday, Ryan, and I know it hit you and I really hard, and Care as well. So many people. You're known for talking about mentorship on your show, always talking about mentorship. I love hearing what all of your guests have to say on that. We lost a mentor of ours 6 months ago to this past Saturday. Brad Reith was the anniversary of his passing. Do you miss him more as a friend or mentor?
I miss the entire package. I miss the friend. I miss the mentor. I miss the person that tell you to grow the fuck up. I miss the person that tell you to shut up and do your job. I miss the person that says I love you. I miss the guy that tells you hang in there. I miss the good and the bad and the hard and the soft part of Brad. And I find myself texting his. There's a messaging thing that we kept open between us, and it might be weird or something, but I text it almost weekly, knowing that his family will never see it, and so on. But it's weird. I've never had a loss in my adulthood to that scale. And I've lost family members, but they've been older, like my grandfather and stuff like that. Like it's a different type of loss. So for me, Brad was the first of what are going to be many losses in life. And yeah, I'm in no way, shape, or form over it. I mean, I think about him every day. It was a significant loss in many ways for me.
I miss that when I would complain about Jessica when he would call me up, and he'd be like, bro, you're 100% right. Put Jessica on the phone. Go get her. I'm gonna set her straight. I'm like, well, tell Jessica, well, he is a pastor. Or was a pastor. He knows what he's talking. We got to listen to him. you know. So whatever he says to you. So, but I definitely love, definitely miss him. Every single day, my phone rings at work. They're like Carrie one of the sisters had posted the other day. You know, it was the anniversary, and it was funny. Moments later, my phone rang, and I instantly I took it out of my pocket and I started walking towards the back because my phone only rings at work when Brad calls. So it was one of those things. I'm like, oh, sweet, my phone's ringing. I get to talk to my buddy Brad, and then it was always about the best cigar he's ever smoked. You know, and it was like, bro, this cigar, man. Whatever cigar it was, new cigar.
It's the greatest cigar
ever smoked.
It was the greatest
cigar ever. So,
you know,
yeah.
I don't know. His is a very hard loss, and I forgot where I was going with that. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, it's I miss him, and it's gonna like lead into our topic for tonight. But one of the things I miss most about him is I don't have a lot of friends that understand what I do in this social media world. Care understands, like Ryan, you understand. Brad understands more than anybody because he's spread across so many social media platforms. So we could vent to each other back and forth, and we knew exactly what we were talking about, you know. People, and I don't know if you get this, Ryan. I get it a lot. Your friends, people see on social media. Man, you have a great job. You just sit around smoking cigars all the time.
That's a good job.
And my answer is always try it. Try it for a couple of weeks. Let me know how you like smoking, you know, 5 to 6 cigars. I mean, it sounds first world problems. Smoke 5 or 6 cigars a day is a job, having to take pictures, having to get advertisers, sponsors. You know, yeah, it's not that fun all the time.
Well, I don't know about the sponsors with me, but the smoking spice.
Yeah.
So
and they're free for you. You don't even get
8 cigars a day for me.
Yeah. Plus, you get to smoke other people's cigars that you're making, so you're always, you know, always that.
You know, as far as I want to give my condolences to both of you. I never met your friend, but he sounds like a very good man. So my heart goes out to you guys and to his friends and family as well. I don't know if you guys know, but we also lost another friend back in July 12. He used to own a cigar lounge in Daytona. Daytona Cigar Club, Miguel Ning.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I follow some of those guys up there. I didn't know. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, Miguel Ning passed away. He had a brain pneumonism.
Man, it's just we take it personally in this. I mean, we're a small, you know, people think that the cigar world is huge.
Yeah.
The cigar world is not big at all. We are a very close, tight-knit community. It's not like the bourbon community, which is 100 times, if not 1,000 times bigger than us. And every other community out there, cigars is a tiny thing. And, you know, everybody, you know, Art's fighting for the same piece of pie that everybody else is too. So
Kevin, to your point, and for people that don't realize how small the cigar community is, look at how incestuous it is with itself, in the sense that you'll have a guy 20 years at a company go to another company for 20 years. You'll have a guy 5 years here, 3 years here, 4 years here, 10 years there. I feel like the cigar community passes its top performers around just because it's not as big as a community as everybody thinks it is. Right. And it's not like the software sales world that I'm in, where you got 50,000 sales executives across the U.S. alone. You might have 1,000 or 2,000 cigar salesmen across the country.
Care, how often do we interview someone and we're like, well, in your previous job, you know, which was, you know, and sometimes it was that previous job was a month ago, you know, it was, you know, when we booked you on the show, you were with someone else.
It's a very tight-knit group, and as you said earlier, when you lose somebody in that, you know, in that group, it hits hard. It's a big ripple. And even like Art passed along his condolences. I'm familiar with Brad, but he could hear it, feel it, see it. Probably, you know, now that he knows the name, he'll probably recognize it next time it pops up, because it is such a small community. And when you lose someone, it hits you hard, hits everybody hard.
That's
Yeah.
it. And John Lovell, JB's in Greece right now on vacation. And then right before he left, he did get a like a strike from YouTube.
Of course.
Cigars. Of course. So
yeah.
he did.
He should have been smoking a joint. He would have been fine.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't say anything.
Then they wouldn't say anything.
So
So when he gets back, you'll see him.
The other day, they took off some of my pictures from Instagram because I had tobacco related, brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All my videos on Instagram now. I can't be smoking a cigar in the video.
What?
It'll get taken down.
Oh.
All my photos are fine. And like I said, I don't know how, but last month I've been good on Instagram. No flags, no nothing. But I've been very particular about making sure all my videos I'm never smoking a cigar because every single one got flagged and taken down.
You need to smoke a joint. You need to smoke a joint and do sex toy reviews, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
With a cigar in your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
We can just say we have a joint inside the cigar to see what happens.
So I tried a couple times. Every Sunday I do my Tech Tip Sunday video, and when a couple of the videos got taken down, I held the cigar. It wasn't lit, and I never smoked it. But I said Tobacco and Tech Tip Sunday and held the cigar up, and they flagged that video.
Wow!
And I wasn't even smoking it, so it was that.
These people are crazy, man.
Holding up a cigar and actually brandishing it, is what the big one is.
Jesus,
so that's it. So let's get we're talking about, like I said, cigar jobs. Let's get right into it. We're gonna be. Last week was Labor Day, and I think for the majority of us, we all labored on that day. Maybe some people were lucky enough to get the day off. So I'm gonna start off with Ryan. We've been friends for years. I don't know what you do. You've mentioned it in the past. What exactly do you do for a living?
It's by design. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I sell software. It's a boring job, right? I've been in sales over 20 years. If I talked any more than I do, I'd be an auctioneer.
There you go.
But yeah, that's what I do for a living. I work at probably either the biggest or the top three for sure, largest software companies in the world.
So what do you do? Cold call businesses asking if they want Adobe?
Oh God, no! I am way too old to be out farming or to be out doing direct sales anymore. No, I do farming. So there's hunters, the direct side, and then there's account management, which is farming. So I run 30 accounts, anywhere from $10 to $100 million accounts.
Wow.
It's size of businesses in yearly revenue. And yeah, so that's usually where my world is. And then I analyze their financial software, and if they've got manufacturing needs or warehouse needs. I can't actually say any names, but there are several big cigar manufacturers that use us as well. So that's
software, huh?
Yes. Now I don't get to play with any of those cigar manufacturers because that would be a conflict of interest. But
okay.
Call me after, brother, because I'm looking for a software right now.
So right, you guys can talk and get on the show and sell them some software, Ryan.
Let's do it.
Everybody's good.
Kevin wants a commission.
Yeah.
So the software I mainly sell is ERP. It's Enterprise Resource Planning.
Yep.
So it's a general ledger. It's QuickBooks on steroids.
Oh, nice. So I got my QuickBooks guy back behind us.
Yeah.
He's a numbers guy.
Right on. Care, for those that may be new, because I know we're streaming on Rumble. We've gotten a lot of new Rumble followers.
Hey.
What exactly is it that you do?
I sell hardware.
Yeah.
Software.
No, I'm just messing around. I work in medical industry with clinical trials, patient recruitment, that kind of stuff.
All right. Yeah, I know you can't go too deep into that.
Yeah, I've been doing it. It's going on 9 years now. In this part of it. I mean, I've been in the medical industry over 20. But there are various things from sales to marketing and pharmaceuticals and hospice and everything else. But I've been with this company now going on 9 years, and I love it. It's great. Do a lot of great things. So, it's
and as I stated on our Puff and Ponder, killing lots of people.
Kev just really adding that extra tagline on there. Thank you. Just make sure you put into a hashtag, Kev, if you wouldn't mind.
He works with the placebo side.
What's that?
You work with the placebo side.
Yeah, I do. I work with the sugar pills. That's what I do. No, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's a lot of fun.
All right, and then most people know that I'm a mechanic. That's what I do on my day job.
Very cool.
Slinging tires, brakes, tune-ups, whatever it is you need. Now, the older I get, the pickier I become, and the less hard work I do. You know, so as all senior techs do, we farm out the stupid stuff to the kids.
There you go.
So
Kev, the series on Netflix, Tires. Are you a fan?
I'm a fan, and it is 100% correct. You know, not in my company because we're such a huge conglomerate of a company, so they don't allow any of that to happen. But we've got mom and pop shops that my friends work at, and it's 100% tires. So yeah.
Since you do breaking tires, I'm gonna bring you my truck from Nicaragua, Kevin, so you can help me out. Nicaraguan mechanics, like the Central America, man, those are crafty. I don't know if I tell you guys all the bullshit I got to go through for them to do an oil change on my Chevy, or even a tire brake check. Yeah, I had to wait months for them to set me up an appointment, guys. I mean, it's horrible. And I thought I bought me an American truck over there to be cool because I don't want to be driving those Toyota Hilux. I said, fuck that. I'm American. I got to drive a Chevy truck. Yeah. So I got me a Chevy Colorado, right, with a diesel engine. And all of a sudden, man, it's the worst nightmare, bro, because nobody has the parts. Yeah. Like to buy parts, a headlight, something like that, I have to wait months. Yeah. Horrible.
So, Kev, I have a question for you. This has been going around TikTok, and you don't have to focus a lot of time. I'm just curious if you've thought about it. Icon versus Snap-on.
So my toolbox is filled with a lot of different tools. I do have Snap-on. Snap-on, hands down, makes the best ratchets in the industry. My go-to isn't my go-to ratchet that I use on a daily. That has been my bread and butter for 5 years. Is from Home Depot, which I love it. It's a flex head, but whatever. But yeah, I've been watching all the TikTok, the whole drama with icon wrenches, Snap-on wrenches.
Nice.
Yeah, we don't use the open end part of the wrench, Ryan, so nobody cares about what that part is. Yeah, who cares? Yeah, but yeah, I have Craftsman tools. I have Snap-on tool. All my electrics are all Snap-on, hands down, Snap-on across the board. Nobody makes anything better on the electrical tool wise than a Snap-on.
Snap-on's good.
I got Ingersoll Rand. I got Cobalt, Craftsman. They all have their place. There's mechanics that only buy Snap-on, Matco, Mac, whatever. They're brand whores. They love having all the tools. They love showing them off.
Just like cigars.
Yes. Label whores.
People buy a $10,000 humidor that only holds 250 to 300 cigars, or you could buy a $99 humidor. Nice. Maybe it doesn't hold the humidity quite as well, but it holds just as many cigars, and you're using what's inside.
Absolutely.
So the toolbox don't make you money. The tools make you money. The humidor, it looks nice, but the cigars are what you enjoy the most. Okay. So yeah.
Just like the mechanics, it's not the tools, it's the mechanic's hand that makes you money.
It's mechanic hand, like I said.
And the brain.
Yeah, I can use a $10 wrench, and the guy next to me can use a $100 wrench. We could be doing the same job and make the same amount of money.
Absolutely.
And accomplish it in the same amount of time. And I don't have that payment each week.
I think Kevin will do a better job.
I was waiting for that part. I'm waiting for Kevin to say it, and I'll do a better job.
Yeah, I'll get it done faster. I guarantee you that.
He looks like a good mechanic. Let me tell you guys.
But he's thin, so his hands get everywhere. His hands get into places.
I tell you, at least twice this week, last week, someone hit hey, come here for a second. I need your hands. To get this bolt or something else, or just to get into that tight spot, and I'm like, yeah, it's why my hands are a little cut up right now. But yeah, having small hands is always.
Hey,
always
Ken, we
fun.
should open up a shop in Esteli, brother. You'll
Yeah,
be welcome over there, huh?
We
Free
should.
cigars, and we'll have the shop there.
That's it. I don't know if we get anything done.
I got
Yeah.
cactus.
It's
I got
just
cactus
your
nuts.
move.
I'll never be a mechanic.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for it. I tell everybody, I'm built for manual labor, but I'm not good at it.
So I used to do mechanics in high school. You know, where they teach you how to do that's what, I was never good at it. I never had the time to get in there and go behind the car, under the car. I was not into me, you know, but they put me in the music program and I was there marching my whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
That's how I got my scholarship in school, you know, through music. But
There you go.
everybody has their forte, you know, everybody's good for something, I always say.
Yeah.
Right, you just described yourself as an F-150 that's a two-wheel drive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
No,
I didn't know there was a
I-
Ford outside.
Well, I tell you, I met a guy.
I'm a Chevy guy.
I met a guy for the first time at Cigar Fest. We were talking. He goes, "Oh, you know a lot about you in construction. You look like you're in construction because I know woodworking, right? Because I did it for a little bit when I was younger, and that's when I
Construction paper.
realized I'm not made for it. Even though I look like I can do it, I'm not made
Right.
for it. My fingers can flex out on a keyboard really good, though. I tell you that much.
Yeah,
You know.
you say that, but I got winded today after eating lunch at work. My boss comes up and asks me a question. I'm out of breath. He goes, what have you been doing? I go, man, I just ate lunch. And I'm like, why am I so winded? Because for me, I mean, I eat fast. Like I said, because as a mechanic, we're not making money if our bays aren't turning, if we're
Right.
not working. So I'd eat lunch really fast and I got winded, you know.
So how were you eating?
So, yeah, just a sandwich, some chips, an apple. And,
Out of curiosity, do you smoke cigars about being a mechanic?
I don't. You know, every now and then I'll bring one to work and I'll smoke it. But I'm not a person that does task
Right.
and smoke. I like to smoke and enjoy the cigar.
Absolutely.
So people talk about yard guards. They'll smoke while doing yard work.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't want to be smoking outside. Like if I'm in my workshop out back and because it's air conditioned out there and I'm on my lathe or I'm doing something,
Mhm.
I can enjoy a cigar because that's fun. It's not work
Right.
or anything else. But mowing the grass, trimming, or I don't mow grass. I pay a guy. But if I'm out there walking around doing my spraying for the weeds and everything else,
Is he Mexican?
Yeah.
The guy he hires smokes the yard.
Hire me.
But, yeah, I'm not a task guy. Is anybody else here a task guy? Like you?
I
can-
try. Like
Yeah.
I've tried to smoke cigars when I do lawn work. I try and it's not enjoyable. I have tried over and over again. It gets wet. I don't get the, like you said, if I'd rather, and my dad's the same way too. He's like, I'll smoke a cigar when I'm done with the yard work, drinking a cold beer, sitting and relaxing.
Right.
That's when I'll enjoy
Right.
the cigar.
It's like me at the factory, guys. When I'm making cigars and I'm in my production room, I don't get to enjoy the cigars, right? I enjoy the cigars when I get home, sit in my patio after everything and everybody goes to sleep, sit in my patio, and that's where I really taste my cigars and enjoy it. And so the next day I know what to do or what to change and things like that. But when I'm in the factory, I'm just testing tobacco, making sure it's the right tobacco for the cigars. So it's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah. Now, do your rollers? Are they allowed to smoke?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Except weed and cigarettes inside the production room.
Yeah. Now, how many are they allowed to smoke a day?
They can smell. Well, most of them won't really smoke a whole cigar, so they'll just grab a cigar. They'll be smoking it. But I got a couple mancheros there that probably do 2 a day.
Okay. Now, do they get cigars per day to take home with them?
No,
No. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
the
I
Calibre.
know that's like an old tradition.
Right.
The
Very, very
Calibre,
old.
you get to take one. That's where that comes
Yeah.
from.
no. I mean, if they wanted to take one, I wouldn't mind, right? But they usually smoke what they're making, and the reason why is because I always tell them, "Hey, man, how can you know what you're making if you don't taste it?
Mhm.
So smoke one, taste it, let me know what you think." So once they get familiarized, how do you say, familiarized with the actual smell and the flavor of the tobacco, then they know how the blend goes. So in case they think they made a mistake, they'll spark it up. They'll be like, "Okay, I fucked up. I put more of this, more of that." So they know what they're doing. So I always tell them, I want you to get familiarized with the cigar, so that way you can know what you're doing in every blend.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
know
sense.
that. Yeah, I know in the teens and 20s here in the U.S., you know, where Ybor City, New York, Ohio, they would get 5 a day. Some factories would be more, some would be less. It was average about 5 cigars a day they got to take home with them.
Nice.
And then a lot of them would save them up, and then on the weekends they would go sell those cigars to local shops to make extra money. So but yeah.
Sounds like you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I actually have a question for Art, if I may, Kevin.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
What's up, brother?
So when you started a factory, I'm 18 years old. I want to get into making cigars. Is there an actual like stepping process of like, okay, you're starting with sweeping, and then you're gonna go from here to a banchero or to the floor? Like, what is a track way to being a blender at a factory without having your own brand?
Well, it all depends the passion you have for tobacco and for cigars. Before you even think about even working or opening a factory, you have to have the passion for cigars, for smoking, for saying, oh, I'm going to smoke a Dominican, a Cuban, a Nicaraguan cigar, a Costa Rican cigar. You have to know what you're smoking first before you even step in the ring. So you have to do a lot of practice boxing before you hit the ring, right? Same thing with this business. You have to be able to know what you want to do before you actually do it. So if you're 18 years old and if you already like and love cigars, you smoke a lot of cigars, you have passion for it, well, you got to find a country where you want to make cigars at. So if you want to do Dominican, go to Dominican Republic and try to connect with one of those factories out there, and for them to give you the opportunity of apprentice and learn what they do. So, for us, for example, if somebody wants to learn tobacco, hey, come in my factory. Let me show you what we got going on. Let's put you to work. Hey, you want to learn? All right. Well, you got to learn every department of the factory. And that's how I did it, guys. When I started, when I was going to Nicaragua back in 2012, 13, 14, I didn't go there and just open a factory. I was working, for free for other people. I was there helping out. I was learning. I was in every department. And that's how I got started, with the factory.
Do you ever get like employees, like, say, if I want to move to another state, like I said, I can transfer.
Mm-hmm.
If there's not like I work for a Bridgestone, if there's not a place by, we have connections in that area. If someone said, hey, Art, you're working at your factory, I want to go to the Dominican Republic. I think that's my goal. Would you be able to get them involved? Do you know people that you had that like, hey, I've got a guy that wants to come over to the Dominican Republic or Honduras or move? Has that happened in the past where they've asked for you to
vouch for
them?
It has never happened, and I really have to know the person if I'm going to vouch for them to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I really, really, really have to get to know, because what if I recommend somebody to go to a friend of my factory over there? Like, for example, I'm friends with Hochi Blanco, with all those guys. I can call Hochi right now and say, hey, Hochi, I'm going to send you one of my cousins out there. Can you help him out? And, give him some jobs right there, train him, let him be an apprentice. And he's going to say, yeah, chico, tráelo. He's going to say, yeah. But if I send somebody out there, all of a sudden something gets stolen or something happens over there.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So we do that at my job where like we'll get like we're not happy with somebody. So and sometimes it's just the environment. Like I said, we've gone, like, hey, you're not fitting in with this crew. We're going to send you to somewhere else. And sometimes it works out, and that person's there for years,
right?
And they found their niche. And but usually, like, the store manager or like one of the techs will call me up. Hey, this guy we're getting from you, tell me about him. I'll be like, oh, he's the greatest. He's the greatest. And then after 2 weeks, they'll call me up. You son of a bitch. And I go, what was I going to tell you? We wanted to get rid of him. If I told you what I really thought of him, you would have nixed the transfer, and I wouldn't got rid of him. So we do it all the time. I've gotten 2 in lately from other stores, and same thing. And I called them, and both stores goes, now we're even, and I'm like, you son of a.
So same thing happened to my production manager last week. This Bonchero came down over here and wanted to get a job from us. We have 12 couples right now, so and everybody knows him as a thief, right? But my production manager like, you know what? I'm going to give you an opportunity. Let me recommend you to this factory around the corner. I think it was Esteban Carrera's factory, and with Gonzalo. And he says, yeah, go over there, see Gonzalo, tell him I send you to give you an opportunity, see what happens. So the guy went over there, and he says, yeah, I'm here for the job. I'm a supervisor. So he went from Bonchero to a supervisor. So he stepped up his game. So he bullshitted his way through, right?
Oh.
And then he said, Tabacalera Segovia's production manager referred me here. So because they have love and care about us, right? They gave him the opportunity. All of a sudden, $100 goes missing out of one of the manager's office. And then they look at the cameras. Sure enough, it was that guy who took the money, right? So then guess who they call? They said, hey, production manager from Tabacalera Segovia, why did you send this guy to our factory? They're like, hey, he said he needed a job as a buncher. I say that you guys are always hiring bunchers. I didn't say nothing else. So that's why we don't really recommend people like that anymore.
It's tough.
Jesus, he gave himself a promotion through buncher to manager, and then gave himself a bonus.
What's crazy to me? I guess I don't understand what $100 means. If that's $100 US or if that's $100 in that country's money, what that means to that person. Is that a lot of money? It's like, what are we talking about?
It's about $4,000 Cordobas.
But what is that a month? Is that a month? Is that a monthly salary?
To a guy like this, no. To a guy like this is more like beer money for him.
So, like, why would you risk your fucking job for $100 bill?
That's because thieves are thieves.
Thieves are thieves. Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Dumb thieves are thieves.
Yeah,
smart. And he already has. And this guy has. I never met this guy, but this guy, according to what they told me, he has a reputation of stealing stuff from other factories. That's why he's been getting fired from different places. So I said, production manager, if you already knew he's a thief, why would you send him to my friend's factory? What's wrong with you? And then I said, I don't need a call from Greg telling me, hey, why'd you send me this guy?
You should make your production manager give him the $100 back.
Absolutely.
So
vouch for it.
Ish says, Art, whatever you do, don't send the thief to us. So,
Ish.
So yeah. Ish will I'm sure I said he'll weed those out really quick.
That'll be the last time he steals.
Yeah. Send him to Ish. Actually, send him to that'll be the last time he steals or has the capability of stealing. Put it that way.
By the way, I will see you soon, Ish. I'm on my way your way pretty soon.
So we talked about jobs that are our current roles. Let's talk about what was your first job? We'll start with Ryan. Like your first, you're on the books, you're paying taxes, and what was your very first job?
As a young boy, you're referring to, or as an adult?
The first time you had to pay taxes.
First paycheck.
First paycheck. Like, someone wrote you a pay. It's a little different for you.
Non-family paycheck.
Yeah.
Because family, you can be working at 8. My first tax filing that I ever had to file for a job was at Office Max.
Oh, nice. Hey, that's a cool job, man.
Yeah, I started at Office Max as a cashier. 2 weeks went by. They needed somebody on the sales floor. I jumped at the opportunity, sold a ton of bullshit insurance, which is what we called their Max Assurance. Right. And got $1.50 raise and put on the floor permanently.
So back then, I'm trying to think. You were slinging a Windows 7.
No, I was slinging chairs, desks,
Windows 5,
computers, compact computers. We had a compact computer terminal. Build your own compact. And then when the all-in-one HP desk jets originally
I remember that one. Yep.
And the laser jets. And I sold all of those. I actually, up until a couple of years ago, I still had the record for the district for the most bullshit insurance sold in a month. And that was 15, 20 years. So
that was a long time, brother.
Oh man, Care, your first got a paycheck from someone.
Well, my first paying job, it was under the table. It was trimming trees when I was in 7th grade for a couple of summers. But my first actual paying job where it was reportable paycheck was with Burger King.
Shit.
Yeah,
the BK Lounge, right?
I worked Burger King. Yeah, it was Burger King. I had to think because then afterwards I was the worst job in the world was stock boy at Sears. But yeah, working at Burger King, I was the fry guy.
Nice.
I had to work my way up. It was like that Louis Anderson moment in Coming to America. It really was like, we're gonna put you on burgers And then you get them here, and they go through the conveyor belt. You put them in the bun, and then you put them in
Louis
here.
Anderson.
Then you can work your way up to fries.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was such a great scene.
So yeah, it was Burger King. Actually, well run Burger King too. I mean, the guy who was the manager was very, very, very strict. It was well run fast food place.
Art, your very first like paying job.
Well, I started my first job at 15, and I worked for 3 months at McDonald's, and then I quit. And then I went to Burger King for 3 months. I remember it was the summertime. Then that's where I invented the 5x5 burger. Forget about In-N-Out, bro. I did it with Burger King, and it was the best freaking delicious burger in the world with extra cheese in every patty. You know what I mean? So the manager got pissed and fired me for eating so many burgers.
You wear the crown? Did you wear the crown, Art? You liked the crown, didn't you? The paper crown?
The crown, brother. I used to put that on my burger.
Yeah,
that's why I haven't lost a weight.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like I'm still
there, bro.
Kev, when I worked at Burger King, we used to have the room in the back. The break room was back when you could smoke in the break rooms, and it was this small, itty bitty, tiny room. And you'd go back there, and there'd be 3 people back there chain smoking over a freaking aluminum Burger King ashtray. And then you're like, damn, I'm going to take my burger and sit on the freaking sidewalk and eat.
And it was a Burger King ashtray, too.
It was those little small metal ones.
Aluminum one.
I remember back in the day when I used to, I was a service manager at the Walmart Tire Lube Express. God, 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Wow.
Walmart still allowed employees to smoke. They had a break room, but within the break room, they had a smaller break room that held like 10 chairs.
Really?
But it was like all windows, like on 2 sides. So as you're smoking, people stare at you like you're in a zoo.
Yeah.
I didn't smoke, but that door would open, the smoke would come billowing out. You went back to your job, and you know who smoked, because you get 10 people in that room smoking cigarettes. And you let them out back on out, oh my God.
Like the smoking booths at the Vegas airport where you go in and play.
No, I don't think anybody smoked cigars. I didn't smoke cigars back then, but yeah, I'd have clean, popping up like, so we're smoking.
I smoked my first cigar 15 and a half. My grandfather gave it to me before he passed away. I remember that age. Yeah.
So growing up, I mean, I guess in Nicaragua, Central America, I mean, you all start. I mean, at an early. You literally.
What was your first job, Kev? What was your first job?
I was a busboy.
A busboy.
Huh? Busboy at a restaurant.
At 15.
I was 15.
Nice.
Started as a busboy at a restaurant.
Ruby Tuesdays.
What restaurant?
The name of the restaurant?
Yeah, it was
Ruby Tuesdays.
It was a what was the name now? It's just the Golden Apple Dinner Theater. So you actually came in, you ate dinner, had your drinks and everything else. Then you went and saw a show. They actually had plays. Off Broadway plays. So that was my first busboy, and eventually worked up to dishwasher, because dishwashers are actually that's not that is a promotion. And then, worked my way all the way up through over the years in different restaurants. I always wanted to become a chef.
So you got free shows. You got to see free shows.
I got to see free shows all the time. Got to eat for free. It was a good gig. I got paid. I said I got to see shows, got to eat free food. That was a great role, because like I said, I wanted to be a chef. And when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be a firefighter, but when I actually grew up, I wanted to be a chef. So what did you want to be when you grew up? Art?
Well, I wanted to be a DJ, and I became one.
Yeah.
I remember at 16, I bought my first pair of turntables, Techniques MK2 200s.
Spinning the wheels of steel.
Yes, I have a collection of records from every type of music. So I wanted to be a DJ, and then at 16, I was doing house parties. And so I went from being an employee at Burger King to doing my own house parties on the weekends in LA, the LA parties lifestyle, like back in the days. I don't know if you guys here in the East Coast or in Florida, how you guys did it, but over there we did that. But I actually wanted to become an architect.
Oh.
For some reason, I always love architectural, and I guess it runs in the genes, I come from a 4th-generation architects, the other type of architects, right? From the east to the west. And so I was always fiend to that, buildings and beautiful things. But that never happened, bro. I went to college for business, not for architectural. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't do it.
If you would have kept up with
Industries.
If you would have kept up with the DJ, my brother was telling me he was talking with a guy at Vegas because my brother was just sitting at a random chair on a Vegas floor where like an EDM show was going on.
Right.
And the guy walked up and asked my brother for his reservation slip. And he goes, "What? It's just a chair." He goes, "Yeah, the chair's $300 a night."
Holy moly.
He's like, "Are you serious?" He goes, while the show's going on. Yeah, absolutely. And then so he starts talking with the guy. The guy doing the show was getting almost 300,000 a night,
bro. Yeah, and these are very famous DJs, man.
Yeah, they're like 5 million a year. Like it's nuts,
dude. I don't know. I changed my trade, man, but I guess my passion to cigars. Call me in.
That's it. No,
tables and a microphone.
And I did produce a record. It was called The Creation by DJ Creator. That was my DJ name back then. It's even tattooed here on my arm. Check it out, brother.
Oh, DJ Creator.
Yeah, see that?
Oh, I'll have to get you spinning at one of these PCA shows.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends who were with me at that time, now they're very famous DJs. They produce records. They I don't know if you guys heard of DJ Van Halen or Bad Boy Bill was a famous DJ that I know that I'm good friends with in the music industry now. Bad Boy Bill. There's another that is called Power Tools, and it was DJ Henry from Power 106 in LA. I mean, all those guys I became real cool with. And then a lot of my DJ friends became radio DJs, started working for radio stations, and now they do gigs all over the world. But we were also in the techno, minimal techno genre of music back then, hard house music. And so I go back to all kinds of music, man. And then from there, I became an artist, a rapper, and I started rapping. That was a cool interview you did with this guy. Yeah. But anyways, I'm actually a real artist, a real rapper. I don't do pop bullshit.
Yeah.
But anyways,
my wife thinks it's crazy because I haven't listened to music in a serious way in probably 15 years.
I almost became a radio DJ. I got offered a job.
You have the voice.
Because I had and this was back when I was like 16. I did an interview. They were interviewing me for a concert that I was at, and we like your voice, and I was really pursuing the restaurant career then. So, but yeah, it was always. But yeah, even I remember my dad getting a video camera that took off the full VHS tapes as a kid.
Oh yeah,
I was like 7 or 8, and I always wanted to be on camera.
Huge camera.
I always wanted to be on camera. I always wanted to be filming, and so yeah, my dad always said, I mean, you were, always born to be.
It's very true what they say. Whatever your mind believes, you can achieve. Look where we're at now. We got how many cameras? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we got.
You see what I'm saying? Whatever you manifest, it always comes true. You just got to work hard at it.
Kevin's OnlyFans has like 20 cameras. So
yeah, that's it. But that's working hard. Like I said, there are so many people in this industry. These influencers that they don't want to work. They don't want to put in time. They just want free stuff.
Free cigars,
free food, and everything else. And I tell and then people will look at me, especially building this, and I hate it. I hate it when they say, "Oh, you're so lucky. You have a luck." You got hard. Ryan and Kara, you guys know. I mean,
you
work hard for this shit.
No luck.
For 7 years of busting my ass.
I remember, bro.
To build all this.
I tell people all the time. I said I started doing a show 8 years ago. I was doing a show on Fridays, and it was Duncan Ramon Echevarria, and I would do. We do this, the Stogie Road show, and on Fridays. And then I moved it to Thursdays. And eventually, I stopped doing that and joined Kevin. And I've known a lot of people who've done shows. Like I said, I did my own show. And I've never met anybody who works harder and is more prepared and does all the work prior to an interview than Kevin. That's why that's why I love joining this show. And for doing it for as long as I've done it and knowing how much work's put into it. And I would do a little bit of research and I'd wing the questions just because it was more conversational. You know,
Absolutely.
and Kevin is very structured, very organized, and he does all the, like you said, Kevin. When someone says you're lucky, it's like, yeah, no, not really.
No, there is luck into it. I mean, even in the cigar industry, I mean, you
timing.
You've probably
timing,
been
not luck. It's timing.
Yes.
It's all perfect timing, bro.
And it's your product too, right? It's your product, right? There's a lot of shows out there that do what we do, and week after week we have the same audience. That says something. That is week after week, people are buying the product that we're putting out. Obviously, not physically buying it, but they're watching it, they're enjoying it. That takes a ton of work, and I've seen a lot of people do this for a lot longer than me, and have half the amount of content or half of anything, and it's really also it's just being understanding of what your value is and what you bring.
Absolutely.
And people will be like, how did you get your first sponsor? Well, I asked. Well, you didn't wait for them to call you? Well, no, my first sponsor was Abe DeBabna. I asked him to do an unboxing. You know, I sent him he still has it. It's like a 3-page marketing email, and he goes, I didn't read any of that.
Yeah.
Here's what we're gonna do.
and then how many have come and gone? And it's same in the cigar industry. How many have you seen? How many factories have you seen that have come and gone?
A shitload of them, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got into my lawsuit and they went after me and went through that bullshit, it put me out of business for 4 years, guys. And everybody thought I was dead. Everybody thought that I was done. And look, I came back with the factory.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the drive and passion you have inside of you what's going to drive you to succeed. It doesn't matter what you do. If you have passion and you know what you want and you go after it, it's going to happen. You know, there's a movie about baseball that says, if you build it, it will come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Kevin, I want to congratulate you, bro. This is a beautiful studio you got here. I see the humidor that I can't wait to see. You know, you work hard for this, bro. You deserve all the credit there is.
Oh,
congratulations.
Speaking of the if you build it, they will come. Rest in peace, James Earl Jones, who was in that movie.
That's right.
God, yeah. He was, yeah. Oh my God, what a great what a great catch there.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah, James Earl Jones.
We were just talking about that on the way over here.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
Wasn't he still the voice of Mufasa in the live action Lord of the Lion King? I'm almost positive they actually brought him for that back.
Well, you know what's crazy is they with AI and them being able to do the voice duplication.
Right.
He did not any of the newer Star Wars where you hear Darth Vader's voice. It's not his. It's just all the old recordings they have of him, and then also digitally enhancing it and reversing it, and it's crazy how they can do that. He'll be the voice of Mustafa and Darth Vader for years to come. I was just watching
a video with some actor. I can't remember what it was, but they wanted to use his voice. It was for like a cartoon series or something, and they came in and they had him say thousands of words.
Wow!
And it wasn't a script. It was just you say these words, and that way it goes for like years, forever. They'll be able to put every word that was on his script together and be able to say whatever
and create new ones.
And
create new ones.
Wow.
That's actually the next thing with these older generation of actors. There's actually a company, I forgot the name of it. There's a company going out trying to not buy the rights of, but buy the ability to promote the voice after they're dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like Tom Hanks, they'll go in and Tom Hanks say it's a Tom Hanks. He'll read like 40, 50, 60 hours worth of text, and then he'll get paid X amount of dollars for the rights. And then, of course, he has to sign off on them using his voice, but then he doesn't do anything. It's just like his brother. Like I don't know, most people don't know this unless there's really ridiculous Toy Story fans, but all the toys, all the videos, all like secondary video, a lot of the secondary videos, the video games, those are all his brother. None of those are Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks' brother sounds and looks just like Tom Hanks.
Yeah, so he did some of his runnings. He did some of his running scenes and
Forrest Gump. Yeah, and he talks about how when Disney was approaching him with like 500 new things a year for Woody, he's like, just get my brother to do it. So that's what his brother does full time. is his brother's voice acting.
You're the second Tom Hanks.
Making money off your brother's Woody.
Man,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
So we didn't get to Karen Ryan. What did you guys want to be when you grew up?
Oh,
That's Besides cigar smokers.
I wanted to go into law enforcement, attorney, and then I watched my cousin go crazy in law school pretty much with tons of work, and I decided against it, jumped in sales, and started writing my own paychecks.
There you go.
Yeah.
Which is better.
Yeah.
I always wanted to go.
I don't have any of the debt.
What's that?
I would say I don't have any of the debt from school.
Yeah.
There you go.
I wanted to go in the military, and then always wanted to be a police officer. Even when I got out of college, I had a political science degree. I started taking tests in the state of Pennsylvania for state trooper, and it was like all the state jobs, the state trooper, everything was on a hiring freeze. And then if you wanted like a local job, a local law enforcement job, you'd walk into a room, and there's like 50 people in there, and ex-military, and people are automatically getting an extra 100 points, whatever it is, just for their background stuff. And I walked in, I'm like, God dang, I'm starting off at zero.
Right.
So
There's a lot of nepotism.
Well, there is, but still there's a lot of, you still got to pass the test and stuff. And then I know a buddy of mine had passed the state police test, but he waited for years. So, I mean, I had student loans. I gotta make money. I don't have the luxury of, my dad gave me the 6 month and you're out rule when I graduated college. And I was like, okay. So I got a job with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Nice.
And got into sales and in that area, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Back when I was growing up in the next town over, small town where I lived at the time, Venice, Florida. Like I said, my buddy's dad was the deputy chief of police of the police department, and back then they sponsored you. So if you wanted to be like a cop, he's like, hey, you want to be a cop? We need cops. We'll pay your way into the academy. You're guaranteed a job. Just you want one? And I'm like, no, I don't want to be a cop. But that was way back then. Before now, you have to pay for it yourself. You go through, then you have to put in your applications everywhere and
see if they accept it.
You know what I will tell you is Office Max taught me that a paycheck is meaningless as far as your life is concerned. It's what you make on top of it. It was commission checks for me.
It's all about commission.
Whenever, anytime I've ever taken a job, they're like, oh, your base is great. Yeah, but tell me my commission, because my commission is how I write my paycheck. My base is what I'm guaranteed. And if I lived on base, I would be living on nothing. So that's what Office Max taught me, is the above and beyond actually writes your paycheck in sales.
Yeah.
It's all about, we all live off commissions. I mean, shit, I'm in commission right now.
Yeah, I'm a mechanic. I live off commission. What about jobs? Like the worst job. You ever quit a job on the spot, or quit a job after like a day or a week? We'll start with Ryan.
Yeah, I was doing an automotive parts sales spot for about 3 days, and I realized that there was no parts ever being shipped out for anything I sold.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I left, and I told the guy,
it's a crazy job, bro.
I even called the cops on the guy. He was like, yeah, I think you should go in the old Eureka factory in Bloomington Normal and check this guy out. He's selling thousands of dollars worth of parts on a daily basis, and no parts are ever being shipped out.
That's fraud, man.
Yeah.
You better skip out, bro, before you get in trouble.
Dude, the crazy thing about it is the Homeland Security had an office, a video surveillance office, the office next door to his. So like the fact that we would see boxes of just videos come into the HSA office or Homeland Security office.
Dang.
And it like he just had the gall to smoke pot right there and just sell like that. And I was like, all right, I'm out. This is not right. I'm out. And I went to go get my money, and he said, screw off. I said, fine. I don't know if I want to get paid anyways, because then I might be liable for something.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you got paid your commission. So you didn't get paid.
I never did. No, I wasn't there. I was there for like 3 days.
Wow.
It was there for like 3 days.
That is crazy,
And
man.
once I realized that nothing was being shipped out, I was like, I'm out. I'm out.
Man, when the market crashed back in 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
I started doing a part-time as a Latino manager for a modification company. So then these people, what they started doing is they had an attorney in the office. It was a beautiful, nice office. It was a Vietnamese office. All of a sudden, I start bringing all these Latin people to do their loan mods. All of a sudden, I start seeing that none of these guys are getting their loan mods fixed. And I'm like, well, wait a minute here. I can have my people get fucked over like this. So at the end of the day, these guys ended up doing about 300 loan mods and booked it with the money back to their country.
Oh.
And these, so I'm here stuck with 20 people who got their loan mods. So I helped them all the way through the process and saved their homes. And then I filed a lawsuit against these people, and I reported them to the authorities, and they went after them, but they couldn't find them because they booked it.
Wow.
So you gotta watch it with things like that, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Care, what about you? What about miserable jobs you quit after a day or
Yeah, I don't know if I have a job that I quit after a day. I actually there is one, and it was we talked about this before, and it was I know you did some security work, right?
Oh yeah.
So I was looking for a job, and I got a job with this security company. And I remember going to the interview. It was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It was in this.
Wow.
It was in a small office, and he's like, okay, so he's like digging through the uniforms in his closet, like, what size are you? And he's like throwing me these shirts that just had pit stains on them, and he's like, okay. And then I got my first assignment, and I'm looking at this uniform, and I realized what I got to do, and then I was like, nah, man, I didn't even work a day. I was like, here, now you can have the clothing back. I'm done. I'm not doing this assignment. I dropped back off. And then I got the job offer with Enterprise, but I was like, nah, I'm good.
But my dad was in construction rental equipment for, his entire life. It's what he retired from. So growing up, there were friends of his that needed like helpers, laborers, whatever. So I did a couple things. Painter's helper, horrible job to be a painter's helper. I remember. I think I lasted a couple weeks at that one, but doing odd things. And then they end up painting like this mansion, like 10, 15,000 square foot mansion, but everything, all the prep. And my job was to get on my hands and knees and sand all of the baseboard and trim in this entire place.
Wow.
And then like after a week, I wasn't even halfway, a third done. And I'm like, I'm done. But the one I quit the fastest was a pool installer.
Oh wow.
So they would dig the pool, and then they would set it like the fiberglass ones, crane it in and set it. And then doing my dad's buddy, and he said nobody ever lasted this job. They dropped me off at this job like it's 7 a.m. and like they dug it too big, so it was like a 3-foot gap between around the pool, and there was like piles of dirt and rock around it. And they're like, yeah, just fill it in. And wait, what? And like, yeah, here's a shovel. Fill it in. We'll come get you back at 5. And I spent an entire day with a shovel, and I didn't even make a dent in this thing. But it was cheaper to pay me as a kid, renting a piece of equipment and a driver. Wow. And then and I'm like, I'm done. I am not coming back to this job. That was
absolutely. Man.
Oh my God, I am not these are not shovel hands. They've never been shovel hands.
So when I was young, I was maybe 14, 15. I'm from Illinois. Don't judge me on that. We would get crazy snowfalls. And my dad actually taught me a very valuable lesson when you're a kid asking for money, because nobody takes you serious. So I went out the first snowfall, did a dozen or so houses, came back with like $150, maybe a little less. And I would remember looking at my dad going, I worked my butt off. Like I got nothing. Like this was crazy. And he goes, next time, try something. Just tell people to give what they feel. Don't give them a price. I came back the next snowfall with like almost $400. And he goes, what was different? I said, I just walked up to people and they asked me what they wanted. And I said, give what you feel. And next thing you know, and I learned a valuable lesson there because
Right.
it was I asked for a price that I thought it was worth, and I got that price.
Yeah.
But then I was undervaluing my own work based
There you
on
go.
to those people. So what my dad taught me is know your value, know your work.
And
Absolutely.
also what they value, right? It also is
Correct.
based off how
Yes.
important it is to them. And I mean, it's
Correct.
like you may
Correct.
say $5, but they're probably sitting there thinking, God, I'd give this guy $20 to do this shit.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I had an elderly couple give me like $50. And I remember like
Nice.
walking away like, dude, that
Yep.
took me like 45 minutes. Like, holy cow. You know?
So you should have done that every day.
Yeah.
Well, and eventually I would go out and that's exactly what I would do. As I would hit everybody, I would always hit, and they would say, how much? I'd say, give what you feel it's worth.
Yeah, you know, when I was on my crutches after my knee injury, I couldn't do anything for almost a year. And so luckily the guy that mows my grass, Chris, he's our neighbor a couple houses down. And he's like a handyman for the neighborhood, whatever needs to be done. You need a mailbox put up, you need this. So I relied on him to do a lot of stuff for me. And he always ask, what do you think the job is worth to you? And I go, I can't do it. I go, just do it. Just do the job. Tell me how much it is, and I'll pay you. I deal with that a lot on Fiverr. I use Fiverr all the time.
Really?
I bet this year I'll probably spend $5,000 to $8,000 using Fiverr.
Wow.
You know, some $10 at a time, $20 at a time. And I've got a really good designer that I'm working with right now. I have been for a couple of months. He does all my 3D designing for all my printers. That's what those crowns are over there. I got some other stuff, and I'll give him a project, and then he'll complete it, and then he'll like, what was your budget for the project? I'm like, my budget is whatever you feel the project is worth. You know, sometimes he'll be like, you know what, this is an easy one, $15. And I'm like, fine. Then he'll be like, this one is a little bit tougher. You know, I'd like to ask for $50. I'm like, yeah, then that's what you're getting, $50, whatever your time is worth.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of people undervalue their time, and you know, it's
So
crazy.
I had a job I worked at in Denver, and this like floored all my buddies that I did this. I had a job I started at in Denver, and I told the president of the company when he hired me, because he hired me with the intent of training their entire sales staff. He goes, I'm curious to see what you can do. Within a month, I destroyed their record for monthly sales and blew out their top sales guy. And I went back up to him and I said, okay, so this is where we renegotiate the original agreement that we talked about, because I've shown you what I can do. I need an extra so-and-so amount each month because I've got to drive an hour and a half every day. I need you to pay for my gas. And he goes, okay, I'll pay for your gas, but because you did it like this and you actually showed me what you can do, I'm going to add X amount more to it. And so when we're talking to people and they're like, yeah, have you ever gone up to your boss and demanded more money? I said, no, I haven't demanded, but I've shown why I'm worth it.
Yeah.
I've gotten it. Like, I don't demand anything. I show the value that I bring, and the value that I bring speaks for itself.
No wonder my wife asks me for a new iPhone every year.
Yeah.
She's like, I work hard in the factory.
Oh my God. What about your one of the funnest jobs that you had, and that you hated leaving, but you had to leave? It was either time to move on. What was like we'll start with Art. What was like one of your favorite jobs, either as a kid, an adult, but you just had to move on for one reason or the other?
Working in the music industry.
Yeah.
That was fun, man. I partied with all these famous artists. I got to hang out with all these cats. The funnest was just getting to know the people as who they are, not who the fame they are. One of them was that I partied a lot and hanged out with this Romeo Santos, a bachata artist. And I just love working with the record label, Universal Music, Universal Latin, working for my label. And so when I decided to open the factory, I decided to step out of the music game for a little bit and focus in my cigar factory. But that was one of the funnest jobs I ever had. To be in the studio, recording music, performing with the performers. I mean, that was fun.
Abe Flores with PDR Cigars?
Yeah.
Yeah, Abe's got a full, he was a musician. He's got like a full recording studio at the factory or something.
Yeah, he has a studio at his factory, but his kind of music is more like I want to say kind of like love pop music, jazz music.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
blues.
Little
That
soft.
kind of stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I work in the Latin industry, the reggaeton industry, the urban industry, the bachata Latin industry. That was
Heavy
fun.
bass.
Yeah.
Nice.
Care. What about you? Something, a favorite job that you just had hated leaving, but you had to.
I the one I knew guys who did this seasonally, but I lived down at Dewey Beach for a summer and Rehoboth Beach, and I was a beach boy. So
Yeah.
I'd sit at the beach and I'd rent out beach chairs and beach umbrellas. I had a hot dog cart that we would load up every morning at my buddy's. My buddy owned the company. He and his father. We'd load them up at the barn. We'd take them down. And I did that throughout the week, Monday through. It was actually had Mondays off, but Tuesday through Thursday, I worked different blocks with a hot dog cart and drinks and stuff. And everybody who was at the bars, the bartenders at night would come down, and you'd be like, "Hey, what's up? Yeah, here's a water, free water with whatever." And then they give you a nice tip. And then when you'd see them at the bar at night, they gave you a free beer. Then you give them a tip. So it was really a great symbiotic relationship that was going on. But just to be able to do that all summer long, and then I had an old CJ7, a '79 CJ7, and then
Nice.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I worked the weekend down close to Bethany Beach. So I'd take my Jeep and I would load it up and I would take it down the beach. I'd park it next to the shack. I'd spend the day working, and then at the end of the day, my buddy come down. We'd hang out. He'd have a couple of beers. And then we would hop on the Jeep and just drive down the shoreline every night those days. So obviously, it's a great summer job. I know a lot of guys who would do that all summer, save money, and then at the end of the summer they'd go to Puerto Rico for 3 or 4 months, blow the money they saved all summer long, then come back and just kind of hang out and lick their wounds for several months and start the whole vicious cycle all over again.
Oh, so you lived an '80s movie life,
Right?
That's
Nice.
For several months. It was. I mean,
Summer.
we didn't have, there obviously was before cell phones, but we didn't have a TV in our place. There was no need to have a TV. I had no idea what was going on in the outside world from May until August. No idea what was going on in the outside world. Nor did I care.
Oh man!
Every night was like, we're gonna go into Rehoboth during the week because there's nobody there. We'll go to Summer House, Dollar, Long Island iced teas. You knew exactly where to go. Then on the weekends, you went to another beach because it was like all the weekend warriors would come in. So it was just a wonderful time. I
gotta say, Care, Dollar Long Island iced teas. I'm surprised you have any memory of anything.
Yeah,
I don't. You also got to remember too. This was the early '90s too. So it was a Long Island iced teas, and then the lighthouse would have taco toss. So they had a big plastic cup that they'd fill up for like, I don't even know, it was like $1 or so or whatever. So everything was like $1 or $2 throughout the week, and then when the weekends hit, we'd migrate somewhere else where the drinks were cheaper. But they do fishbowl frenzy. They'd fill a big old plastic fishbowl full of beer, like 3 beers for $2 or something at some other places. So it was it was a fun time. I'm surprised I remember it.
Dave.
Yeah, Bruce Stark, volunteer bartender, got tips, so it was worth it. Totally fun for one night a week. Yeah, that'll lead me to my story. But Ryan, you go up first. One of your favorite jobs?
Yeah, I worked for a huge marketing firm, and the money was flowing. The parties were great. I would travel to the Quad Cities, and my job was to take clients out, wine and dine them, and get
that's
them
fun.
to spend a ton of money. And then we got bought out for our software, and they essentially let everybody go that was the sales teams. But that was a lot of fun. I mean,
sounds like the cigar business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had clients. I would hang out with them till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And one of my mentors, sales managers, always told me to mimic what a client does. So if they have a drink, you have a drink. If they have a cigarette and you smoke, you have one. So I was going out like, should I drink? And I'd call my manager like, dude, can I buy him a beer? He's like, is that what it takes to close the deal? Buy him whatever he wants. And I'm like, You sure? He goes, yeah, just submit the deal. And I'm like 24, never had a company credit card before. And I'm up there at the bar going, another round. Okay, here we go. $30 glasses of scotch. Here you go. And I'm like,
Hey,
oh,
take me to the strip club, right?
yeah, right. I don't think I could write that one off.
Yeah.
But,
there's a way, Ryan. What you got to do. We found some loopholes back in the day. It was like, this restaurant in Philly, they don't do receipts. They do manual receipts, and here's the paper they use it on. So use this.
Yeah.
Perfect.
back when they had the credit card.
And then the boss will come. You spend $30,000 at a strip club.
Is open up a restaurant or a bar, and then and name the drinks after like ream of paper. Hey, this guy ordered 2 reams of paper. This guy ordered instead of a Long Island iced tea, it was a box of paper clips.
What was great though is
I was in the room, right?
Yeah,
that's great.
I was in Toronto 2 weeks ago, and I'm telling my manager, I'm like, my client wants to take me out of Toronto and kind of show me around the town. He goes, if you let your client spend $1, we're going to be pissed. And I said, what does that mean? He goes, if your client takes you bar hopping and you buy every drink at every single bar. So we went to one bar, but we ended up spending like $600-700 that night. And I remember like I cannot believe I'm just okay to just charge we're sitting in a Japanese like tapas, which I know is Mexican, but I just don't know what the name for is. I'm doing sake bombs, which is where you like hit the table with chopsticks and a shot glass with sake, and it falls into a beer. I'm sitting across from a CFO, a controller, and then my contact, all doing sake bombs at this bar. And I'm like, I can't believe this is like what I get paid to do right now. Like
$800 of Godzilla rolls, right?
That's why I definitely love going out with the folks from Drew Estate.
Oh yeah,
because when that bill comes, I don't even make that that generous. Let me go. I'm like, no, they're getting this, So.
Oh yeah, no, I told the client
they take it as long as Glenn Wolfson isn't listening to this.
I used to go with Pedro Gomez all the time to have dinners.
Oh yeah, Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro. And when Alex used to work for him, they used to take me to dinners with them, and we were on tour with those. That's how I learned how to do the tours, because I used to hang out with those guys all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool. One of my favorite jobs, bartender. So I was got out of the restaurant business, got into the mechanic business, did that for many years, got burned out, left, and went to do private security, like high-end private security. And then a friend of mine needed some part-time help he ran the bar and grill at a RV resort. One of the premier RV resorts in the U.S. is actually in Sarasota County.
Nice.
Huge place. And he's like, come in. I used to work for him in the restaurant business. We need someone to run the grill, and then we do this. Move my way up to bartender. I loved being a bartender. I loved entertaining people. It was a great gig, and but it was time to move on after a couple of years of that. It was
yeah.
It's a fun gig, but I don't know how
That's a tough life, man. Especially when you work at like a place like I worked at a nightclub when I was in college. I'll tell you, some of those guys were like you said, professional bartenders and so on and so forth. And it was like, man, I don't know how you do it. I could not do that night after night after night after night. As a career, I did it for extra money.
Yeah, and this was a great place because it wasn't a bar that the general public can go in. This was a place that it was a resort. People were on vacation. People were always happy. They weren't bitching about their lives because they were living in $1 million motorhomes.
Wow.
And
they were tipping good.
So they were tipping good. They were always happy. So I didn't see like the regular bar. I didn't have to break up fights. I didn't have to hear about this guy's wife leaving him, and that's why he's in the bar for the night. Everybody was always there to have a good time and to drink and tip, and that was that was a good job. A couple of years that ran its course, and I got back into the automotive industry. It's just that itch called me back in.
Went back to your passion.
Went back to my passion.
I have a buddy that works at a very, very big tech company that's got a law background. and I always tease him that he literally has the greatest job ever. His entire job is to keep people at the company. So when he finds a big client's about to leave, he first class flies them to wherever they want to go for them to meet for like one night, pays for a massive hotel. Like he was telling me his one night out was like 40 grand with a client one time. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Did you keep him? He goes, well, yeah, it was a $10 million client. So spending 40 grand was nothing to keep him. But he's literally telling me, he's like his Amex bill for his monthly Amex bill is almost 100 grand a month is what he spends keeping clients happy, taking them out, flies first class everywhere. I mean, like that's literally his job. Like he is like the hospitality manager for a massive tech firm.
Wow.
And all
I heard
he does is take clients out to golfing events, and that's it.
I heard a lot of crazy stories about Drew Stick doing stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And the guy Isaiah from R.o.c.f.cig does a lot of
R.o.c.f.cig,
like
yeah.
They got the money.
You got deep pockets, man. That definitely goes a long way.
You know,
commercial real estate, baby.
Yeah, and the one thing that we don't see, you know, these days is a work ethic, you know, on these kids. You know, nobody wants to work beneath them. Nobody wants to work 2 jobs. Nobody wants to work 3 jobs. Have there been times in your guys' life? I know there's been times in mine where you've had to take a job that was beneath you, beneath your skills, but you did it because you had a family. That's you know, and that's you know, that's what you did. You know, we didn't start a GoFundMe because I got fired from my job and I want people to pay my bills. No. That seems to be the norm nowadays. You know,
buy you a camera.
Yeah. So I've never, you know, because for me, like I said, I remember when, you know, one time, you know, like I said, you know, I was a young dad, a couple kids. Many times in my life, I've had 2 jobs. You leave one job, you know, and you go right to another job and you work. My dad had to do it when we were growing up, and you know, there are times I didn't see my dad, but I appreciated what he did, you know, to support his family. You know, I had to work in Winn-Dixie warehouse overnights in the freezer. And it was like 15,
I know how that feels, brother.
15 below.
Yep.
You know, pulling stuff, and you did what you did. You know, when I was doing private security, you know, it didn't pay a whole lot. I would do other security gigs, you know, and there are times I slept in my car between gigs. You know, you get an hour or 2 sleep in your car, and you start another job, and that is unheard of these days. Have you guys had to do that in your lives?
Oh, yeah.
I think all of us been through stuff like that. We're from the old school generation, and all these new school, man, these new kids right now, they don't value all the things that we all did when we were growing up. You know, just the other day, yesterday, matter of fact, we were in Orlando and we were driving to Tampa, and David and I said, like, hey, let's go get some coffee. So we couldn't find a Starbucks around there, so we stopped by a Dunkin' Donuts. And what do you do? What do you buy there? Coffee, right? Yep. So we're ordering coffee, and I tell whoever was in the mic, I said, hey, I need a big, large coffee with half and half and 1 Splenda. And I repeat it 3 times, right? So then the guys are like, you wanted a large coffee with extra sugar? I said, kid, I just told you 1 Splenda, bro. I'm like, you know what? Cancel my order. So I had to go around, got off, and sure enough, 2 16-year-olds working, don't give a shit about the job. I mean, how could, you know, they don't value how to work hard, how to have integrity in their job. I see these kids working, they're working like they don't give a shit.
No.
It ain't the same anymore.
I grew up, my dad had 2 jobs growing up, you know, and, you know, it was just kind of, it was one of those things where, you know, like Kevin said, if you didn't have the money and if you're struggling, you there wasn't handouts. You didn't start a GoFundMe account, you know, for whatever BS reasons. You just you bucked up. You got another job, and you know, there's been times you got to do extra work and work that, you know. I think if you're you know, if I don't want to say that the job's beneath anybody. I think you when you have a family and you have bills to pay. There's no job that's beneath you. It's earning a fair wage, whether it's, you know, window washing and making a couple of bucks or having a career. I mean, it really is. And I think that's, like you said, Art, I think that is lost today because it's just so easy to want to make money on various things. It's like, oh, I'm just going to be a YouTuber and I'm going to make some big money, or I'll just open up an OnlyFans page, which that'd be great. But
I mean, I remember, I remember when I was 12 years old and I asked my dad for $20. I wanted to go buy some toys. And he says, you got to learn how to earn money. And I said, what you mean, Pops? So he took me to Mexico. I was in the border. He bought me a box of chiclets. I don't know if you guys remember those chiclets, right?
Yeah.
It has two little bubble gums in there, right? Little package, right? So he bought me a whole box. He says, I'm going to drop you off right here where all the cars are at. And every car that goes through here going to the other side of the border, you're going to sell chiclets.
Yep.
I said, Pops, well, how long am I going to be here? Don't worry. Go there. I'll pick you up in a couple hours. He dropped me off. He was not kidding. I made $40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I bought chiclets at the border.
Yeah.
I did. I think that I helped out, man. I didn't sell you, Art, but I definitely was you.
And that's how I learned a lesson. You know, even my little brother now, 28-year-old, he doesn't know that lesson. And now he's 29. He just had a child. He's like, Art, now I see why you work so hard, bro. I said, dude, you got two choices. You're either going to be a hustler like your brother, or you're going to be begging for the rest of your life. What you going to do?
Kids do remarkable things, man.
Yeah.
Kids do remarkable things, man. You will eat shit sandwiches left and right when you have kids. It's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah.
I've always been grateful for somebody to give me a job, and I've only ever went out for jobs I felt qualified for. Have I ever felt like I've been paid less than I'm deserved? Yes, but I've worked very hard to show that, and then I ask for more. I never took it as a standpoint, because the second my mind thought the job was beneath me, I got lazy and didn't give a shit. And I never wanted to. I might not be made for that job, but I'll be the best person that's not made for that job.
Absolutely.
And so I have always had. I never went to college. I've always had a chip on my shoulder that I have to outsell the next guy that's got a degree. I have to do better than the guy that's got it. And that chip on my shoulder, I've used it to benefit me, to get me where I am now. And for me, I look back and I don't look at a single job as being, yes, I don't look at it as a single job as being beneath me. I look at every single job as being exactly what I needed to be to make me where I am now.
Very cool.
Didn't Martin Luther King say about jobs, that no job's insignificant? If you're going to be a street sweeper, make sure that's the best.
Be the best street sweeper you can. Yeah.
And the biggest thing the biggest thing I see with kids nowadays, and kids, and it's just, and I'm calling 30-year-olds kids now, because nowadays, if you're 30 years old, you are still a child, because you're acting like a child. You know, on these jobs, you know, like I said, you know, I had to go, you know, I don't work Sundays, but I had to go in yesterday for a couple hours to do some stuff. And the job, one big job didn't come in. So I was sweeping the floors and doing whatever, cleaning up the shop. Kids, they want to use it. That's not my job. They want to use that excuse. That's not why you hired me. I hired you, you know, to do whatever it is, you know, that any job around here. I'm sweeping the floors. Yeah, just because your job description didn't say sweeping the floors, cleaning the bathroom, whatever. What is I said? I've been with this company 15 years. I'm 46 years old, and I'm sweeping the floors. The bathroom gets dirty. I clean the bathroom. You know, it's our job. But these kids are like, it's not why you hired me. You hired me to change oil. You didn't hire me to do anything else. And kids, boy, they just, I don't know where this comes from, but
I agree.
It's like that line from Vacation. Hey, Eddie's been out of work for 20 years. I've been holding out for a management job.
I've been holding out for management.
You know, Kevin, to your point, and this is a very valuable point, that I love statistics. And again, statistics are like assholes. Everybody has them, but I love like wealth-driven statistics. Okay, and one of the most informative wealth-driven statistic that I've seen, as far as that kind of strikes my curiosity of why is most wealth, unless it's like royal wealth or like so much you can't get rid of, is gone by the third generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that works is the father builds it, the son sees the father's effort and struggles and keeps that same work ethic. And then the grandson was born into money, doesn't have that same familial connection to the industry or that job, and they either sell it or run it into the ground when they take it over.
You start it all
Yeah.
And
over
that
again. Yep.
typically is by the third generation.
Yep.
And that is because the work ethic in this, and that's only been within the last 30 years, by the way. You know, and it's because the work ethic in this company, to Karen, Kevin's point is, it's not my fucking job. I'm not going to do it. Well, no, your job is to make the company
That's right.
live and to do what's required to keep. Your job is everybody else that you employ. That's your job.
Just the other day at the factory, I fired a couple because they didn't want to. They go in the restroom and leave a mess right there. So it was not fair for my clean lady to go in there and clean their mess after they were in the restroom. So one day, this clean lady came and said, "Hey, man, I'm tired of these people. They go in there and they make a mess, pees all over the toilet, blah, 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 blah." And I said, "Wait a minute. What do you mean they do that?" So I called the guy in the office. I said, "Hey, man, when you go in the restroom, you lift the toilet, you do what you got to do, but do not leave a mess because we got other people there, using it, right?" So anyways, the guys are like, "Well, it's not my job to clean. I'm here to make cigars." I said, "You're here to maintain the factory clean. So if you're going to make a mess, you're gone." So pretty much they walked away. Say, "Okay, you're out."
Yep.
Dude, your eyesight sucks if you miss the big fucking hole you're standing over 2 feet from you. Like,
Yeah.
You know, and to what Ryan is saying, you see a lot of these companies that go through that. What you don't see that very often, or actually, I don't think I've ever seen it. Art's been on that side of the business. You don't see that in the cigar industry. Like the family generations, you know, they do take it serious, and that's why you have the Padrones and the Perdomos,
Fuentes.
and they keep the Fuentes, and you keep it going. And then, you know, the cigar. You look at Hirochi Rabainia, the Rabainia family. Hirochi's grandfather started that. You know, saw that Hirochi's dad did, you know, not that he wasn't passionate, maybe didn't have it, so he trained Hirochi, you know, to take over that business. His dad is still within the cigar industry, but you don't see that too often, you know, in the cigar industry, do you?
It's parenting. It's bringing people in. It's bringing people in. Like when Ryan was talking about some of these families, it's, you know, it's once you get past a certain generation, you still have to keep them involved, right?
yeah.
I mean, and I know this may be a buzzword, but like you look at some of these folks that have money. Like you look at, I'll example only because his family's all over the place, is Trump. You look at going back to his father, to him, to his kids, to his grandkids. They're keeping them. They're keeping all of those folks around the business, in the business. They're just not like saying, "Hey, you're the grandkids, so we're just going to give you money. You can go fuck off and do whatever you want." And I think that's where a lot of people do miss out, is once you get past that certain generation, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to do it. Okay, we don't have to. And to your point, Kevin, you'll find someone within the family that wants to do the work that'll keep the name alive and keep the business going. And I think it's just keeping it open for the family around you through generations to be involved in.
So
yeah, you look at Rupert Murdoch right now is fighting to change his will because there's only one kid, that his son, that really wants to keep this going, and the siblings are like, no, we want voting rights. We still want our money, you know. And it's just like, the old man sees that, you know, if he died tomorrow, his company goes to shit.
Yeah,
his empire falls apart.
So I had a guy tell me once, who started several companies with his family throughout, and he said the death knell for a family business is when your son is 10, your daughter is 10, almost 11 years old, double digits, and they can't explain what you do. Yeah. That means your kids are not involved in your business anyway. If they go, I don't know what daddy does. He works for a big company and does this. Like if every guy that's ever told me that, and he had given me examples where you like look through and you go, here's a perfect example. This kid did not understand what this father did. He went to college and he sold the business after because he didn't have that passion. You don't find that in Latin American countries because their children are working the fields at 5, 6, rolling cigars, touching the leaf. They are living the job as the job is the family. And that's the problem.
Yeah, Karen, and I don't remember if this. I think it's a basketball team. You may have heard the story, Ryan. You may have heard the story, and it was God. I want to say it was Shaq. Who was talking about playing. And at the end of the game, saw some cleaning up and picking up all the uniforms and straightening up, and it was the owner of the team's son. That was cleaning up, and asked him, "What are you doing here?" And oh, your dad making you do this. He's like, no, I want to learn. I'm going to take over this team one day, and I need to know every aspect of what it takes to run this team. And he's just, people walking by, throwing their uniforms on the ground. He was, picking them up and not saying anything. And, but those are the kids that do make it.
That's right.
No, it is. And, I watched an interview with Shaq, and they asked him if you were leaving, because Shaq, most people don't know this about Shaq, but Shaq's made more money after basketball than he ever did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The ball in the NBA.
Oh yeah.
Like 100 times more. All right.
Yeah.
And somebody asked him, "Are you leaving it to your kids?" He goes, "Masters or better, they can get their inheritance. If they do not have at least the masters, they get no money." Because I gave myself a master's and a doctorate in the MBA.
That's right.
They got to do the same.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got you got the Warren Buffett, you got the Bill Gates, you got all these
the Morgans,
that aren't leaving their kids with anything. They're giving it all away, and like Warren Buffett has helped his kids start $5 million. Successful businesses, and it is a leg up. But these kids have worked.
Let me know when you adopt a child.
Warren Buffett said that his kids will only ever get $5 million of his wealth. Everything else is being given away. And you're talking
from that 30 billion he just cashed out.
Yes. Yeah. His kids are only entitled to $5 million. Now his kids are very wealthy on their own right. But yeah, he said his kids were only entitled to $5 million.
They don't need more money.
Yeah, they don't. That's all I need.
That's disappointing news.
That's a new factory.
I just need 5 million. You talk about that. So we hear all the time. Karen and I we interview people. Like I said, they start a factory. What is like the say like Care? He has a brand, Stogie Road Cigars. He wants to go to Nicaragua, Honduras. He wants to open up an own factory and start making his own cigars. What's like the investment on that? Like a monetary investment?
That's a good question. So as of today, I probably have about $3 million invested from tobacco, from paying payroll, from paying tobacco, factory bills to government fees. I got to pay 27% taxes on top of every employee's salary to the government. And so we got to pay all kinds of licenses. We got just to be in business in Nicaragua. And so that's the most expensive part of it. And I could imagine friends of mine who own factories in Esteli who have 30 couples, 40 AJ, 600 Placencias, 400. There's a lot of money to invest. Now, it all depends how you want to do a factory in Esteli. Do you want to have a small structure, a medium-sized structure? Do you want to have a larger size structure? The first thing you got to do is you got to find the location, right? And the location has to be right around where there's workers. You don't want to open up a big factory far away and then you don't have anybody to come work. I'll give you a perfect example. Karen Berger's factory used to be far away from the center where all the workers are at. So eventually she closed down that factory and she came back to the city and opened a new factory in the city because now she has all the workers around there. And so that's the number one factor you got to look at is location. Location is really important. Second thing you got to do is, okay, how much tobacco do we need and who do I got to buy from? One of the best tobacco providers, for example, that I buy from is Arganosa. I buy a lot of tobacco from them. which their pre-industry just burned down a few days ago.
Yeah.
So there goes my tobacco for I don't know for how long, but you got to be able to secure the right tobacco, right? You want to make sure that it's well fermented, well cured, and those are the things you got to do. And you could also make deals with the growers. You got to finance some tobacco like we do. And so if you could do that, then you're on the go, right? Then you got to buy in wrapper. Who's going to provide wrapper for you? Not everybody's going to sell you the best wrapper, brother. And so you gotta invest money in Ecuador and Mexico, bring half a container to secure that wrapper for you to be able to have. So, 4 or 5 years ago, it used to be a lot easier, very easy. Now it's very hard, very hard.
Let me ask you this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
How much trash, I say trash, stuff you don't really want, do you have to buy to get the stuff you want?
As far as tobacco, or
yeah,
right.
So do they make you take so much of the lesser to take so much of the greater?
Yeah, it's something they do. Yeah.
So
like,
then you have to figure out a buyer for the lesser.
So, for example, I had a provider not too long ago that I used to buy a certain type of tobacco. For years, I've been buying this tobacco, and then all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I won't sell you this tobacco unless you buy this tobacco." So I wanted to buy a Biso, but for me to buy that Biso, I need to buy Seco now from them. And this is a Seco that I don't even use in any of my blends. So I will have to create a new blend with that Seco so that way I could use their Biso. And so now a lot of these product providers are doing that. They don't want you to just buy one type of tobacco. They want you to buy the whole thing, or they won't sell you anything.
Yeah, the whole.
Because you got the bigger factories that come and they buy everything. They don't care because they use it all.
So back to like Care wanted to start with like $500,000. Would that get you started?
That would just get you in the door.
That would just get you in the door.
Yeah, that would
so realistically, you're talking at least $1 million.
Million plus.
$1 million plus, and then how long? So Care wanted to open up a factory tomorrow. He's got $1 million. Like, how long would that take? Is that like a year-long process?
If you can find somebody you could trust, somebody like me, you could trust me, right?
Yeah.
Just invest that in cigars, bro.
So it's almost not worth it.
It's not worth it. Get rid of the headaches.
Yeah,
I already went through all the headaches, bro.
All right,
Care, I have it secured.
Just don't even think about it.
So Art,
what am I gonna do with $1 million, Kev?
Art, let me ask you this: what is your ROI on a dollar? Meaning, if you spend $1 million, what is your return on investment until that million is paid off? How many years? Now, if your average successful shop in Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican with $1 million investment, how long should that take you to pay back?
It all depends. It all depends on that $1 million, because you remember, it's not all tobacco that $1 million is going to go to.
No, I'm saying you have $1 million wrapped up in tobacco, in infrastructure. What should that typically time frame be to start being profitable and paying that back?
Well, see, I'll give you guys an example. Right now, I got a $1.5 million in cigars in the factory, but it ain't gonna do me no good unless I sell them. And they've been sitting there now for almost a year.
Okay, so you manufacture cigars ahead of somebody taking them.
Right. So I mean, these cigars, they're all Segovias, and so they belong to us. And so, I'm not gonna receive a dime or make a dime unless I start selling cigars ASAP. Otherwise, I'll go broke, man.
Right.
We gotta sell cigars to make some money. But if you have $1 million and you want to invest in your private blend or your private cigar company, right? You got to use that $1 million for marketing, for packaging, and for cigars. So you got to be able to divide. Okay, I'm going to get this much amount of cigars. The rest, I'm going to get a nice packaging, and the rest is going to be for my marketing. And you take off.
How accepting would they be to, quote unquote, a gringo coming in, owning a factory, and work? Like, is it like, does that question make sense? Like, would I be hard pressed to get people to come and work for me because I'm a non-citizen of the area trying to make a factory?
Well, you have to build and have a team with you, right? So, even though I speak perfectly Spanish over there, I'm not Nicaraguan. And so it was very hard for me to try to learn their language my first year. I mean, I lost tobacco. I got ripped off for tobacco. I got ripped off with employees. They tried to sue me a couple of times in Nicaragua. Own employees with the Chamber of Work over there. There's a lot of things that if you don't have the right people working for you at your factory, then it could go south and you could lose all your money right away. So you got to be able to build a team of you could trust, so that way you can start making good cigars, and then that team will manage your team.
So that really explains a lot why Jonathan Drew lived down there.
Exactly.
Because he didn't have necessarily that person he trusted 110% to do everything the right way.
Well, Jonathan Drew it started by himself, and then he met Pedro Gomez, and then they met their general manager right now, Rubio, and then from Rubio they went to another Nicaraguan, then another Nicaraguan, and then he built the team, and he had people he trusted after that. But it took him a couple of years to get there. Same thing with us. It's in June of next year is going to be our 4th year with the factory.
See, and that's what. Go ahead. Sorry.
It took me over a year to find the right people to make our cigars, to build a trustable team, right? Because it's very easy to have if one employee gets pissed off at you or at the factory, he's going to motivate the rest of the employees there to just walk out and leave.
Unionize
one
without
person.
being union.
One person, and they all walk away. And I've seen it before with some gringo factories. You know what I mean? And so it's very hard to put together a business in a foreign country if you don't have the right team. But if you guys decide to open a factory, we'll help you guys out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you guys. Don't even worry about it.
All right, Kerry, you're good now. You're
good.
good.
Appreciate that. Thank you for being my representative.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I have a question, since now this is something I only found out about a year or so ago. Didn't believe it until I looked it up, but there's a basis for it. Being that Care has one of his cigars named Gringo. Art, do you know where the term Gringo came from?
Well, yeah, me being from California, they call me that. They don't call me Gringo. They call me the Chicano Gringo. From the West Coast, right? From being Mexican American. But well, the Gringo term came from different ways. I don't know how your point of view, but I know my point of view. Tell me what you think.
So my understanding is the term Gringo came from the Mexican American War, when we actually had green coats, and they used the term Gringo because they couldn't say green coat, so they said Gringo. and that's also the soldiers used to sing a song called Green Grow the Lilacs, which implied that the flowers will grow on your funeral, on your grave.
Green grows the lilacs. Huh?
Yeah,
man.
So that's like I learned that like a year ago, and it was they called them green coats, and then somewhere along the way it just got dropped to Gringo.
Nice, man. Well, in Esteli, there's only 4 green grows factories, right? You got Oveja Negra is one of them. You got a Greg's factory, 7 Carreras, but Gonzalo runs it. You have r.o.c.f.cig Segovias, which is I'm the Chicano Gringo there, and then you have Skip Martin's Nica Sueños factory, he's the other Gringo over there. There's also Micallef, which is a Gringo factory, but he's never there. And the other one is Noel Rojas, but he's more like a Cuban Gringo.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know Noel had a factory down in Nicaragua.
Yeah, he does. He has a beautiful factory.
Yeah, and then I know James and Angela. They live down there full time.
Right. So
are they because they live down there full time? They're always at the factory. Are they a little bit more respected down there than other factories where the gringos don't visit and don't show up?
Well, the only Gringo factory that's not really there, it's Esteban Carreras, Greg, the owner. He's just more like the financier. He goes there maybe once every 90 days or once every 4 months. Angela and Skip, they live in a beautiful city named San Juan del Sur, which has some beautiful ocean views out there. So they come twice a month, something like that, to Esteli, which is like a 5-hour drive.
Oh, okay.
I live in Esteli, and I'm in my factory every day. And sometimes I get up at 6 a.m. and I'll be there by 6:30, or sometimes I'm there at 7. But I'm the first one to go, and I'm the last one to leave my factory every day. And so I like to be there. But yeah, we all work hard to run the factory, man. People doesn't know how hard we have to work behind the scenes. So it's a whole different monster.
I do have a quick question for you. How big is Esteli, Jalapa? Oh, geez, the other one slips me. In Nicaragua, why is there not airports there? It seems like those are the biggest areas within Nicaragua. I heard Brian Matola tell me a couple weeks ago he flies to Nicaragua. He's got to drive 3 hours to his place. How come there's not?
I was grabbing my cigar.
Why wouldn't there be why wouldn't there be an airport in Esteli, Jalapa?
Oh, no, there's only one airport, which is the Managua airport, which is the international airport. But Nicaragua right now is building a brand new state-of-the-art airport, which is going to be closer to Esteli, which is going to be about an hour and a half away from Esteli now, which is being built as we speak. It's going to be the biggest airport in the whole region of Nicaragua. And then they're going to keep the Managua airport, but I think they're going to make that one for private planes. And so it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now Esteli, I mean, we're all in this industry. You know, Esteli is known for cigars. Esteli is known for tobacco. Is that the majority of what Esteli is, or is there other production, other companies, that reside in Esteli, and we only think about tobacco, or is tobacco really the driving force behind?
Yeah, for Nicaragua, tobacco is the second largest drive of the whole country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first one I believe is coffee. The second one is tobacco. The third is rum, and then you have the meat. Meat, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right on. I can't believe we're at the 2 hour mark already.
Oh, nice.
It's been a fantastic show.
I love it, guys. Thank you for inviting me, Kevin.
Oh, you're very welcome. Ryan, Care, do we have any other questions for Art, or anything else? Any topics that you want to bring up here at the end of the show?
No, it was appreciate. It's great that you were able to make it over to Kevin.
Oh, yes. I've been wanting to hang out with Kevin for a while.
Yeah, that's great. And thanks for joining us, and thanks Ryan for joining us as well. It's always good seeing
Thank
you.
Ryan.
Of course.
I'm gonna go start. I'm gonna go start an early birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was fun, but no, thanks for both. This is always a good conversation. It was a good time.
We're here for you, brother. And if you ever want to make cigars in Nicaragua, you know who to call, brother. I'm here.
Yeah.
So, Care, when's your birthday officially?
Tomorrow.
Wow.
Are you willing to say how old you are?
Yeah, 54.
54.
I thought you were 44, brother.
I feel 84.
Well, clean that lens a little more. Clean that lens a little more on the camera.
No. If he says it looks 50, if he says it looks 44, I may add a couple more layers to it.
So I think Care has the appearance retouch selected on him.
Yeah.
I do. I have the filter on already. I do.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for having me on. It's always a great time. Kevin, Care, you guys mean the world to me, and it's always fun being on your show or having you guys on. And Art, I love the honesty. I love the no holds barred willingness to answer a question. Like, the fact that you gave us numbers is like, I'm going to have a great time with you on my show. So
let's do it, brother.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely get you guys connected. So all right, before we move on, we're going to hear a little word from our partners over at Corona Cigars. way down to the nub. So
Nice.
we're talking about the box press cigar that I smoked
yummy.
tonight. All right, next week we welcome Cody and Mike from the Cigar Rights of America to the show.
Cool.
I was on a herf with them with Nick Melillo about a month or so ago, and they reached out. They said we'd love to come on and talk about the Cigar Rights of America. So we're going to be talking with them next week. Make sure you're following Cigar Prop producer Jessica Caraviajante of Stogie Road Cigars on all the social medias. Links are in the show notes down below, the podcast description if you're listening to this in the future. Also in the show description are the links to all of our partners that make this show happen each and every week. Once again, thank you to JC Newman Cigars, Cigar Medics, Amendola Cigars. We are the muscle. Illusione Cigars, deep in flavor, deep in your mind. Corona Cigar, and of course Drew Estate and Experience Acid. Care, leave us with some parting words for tonight.
I'm going to pass it off to Art. Art, leave us with some words of wisdom.
Some words of wisdom.
Beautiful. If your mind believes, you can achieve. Never quit your dreams. Work hard and hustle till your wheels fall off, man. Look at me. I worked so hard when they tried to take me down, and I came back and opened a factory. It was not because I wanted to open the factory. It's because I was working hard for what I believe in. I believed in my dreams. When I wanted to get signed up with a record label and be an artist, I worked hard to make it happen, and I made it happen. When I wanted to open a factory, I never thought I was going to open a factory. And look, I opened a factory because I had the passion and I had the love for it. Even though I'm not making money like I'm supposed to be making, it's not about the money. Because if I want to make money, I go work somewhere else. It's about the passion and the drive and the belief of your dreams and making good cigars. So that matters. And so just go after your dreams. Don't look back. Don't let all the naysayers tell you can't do it. Just make it happen. And believe me, it's going to happen.
Perfect.
God bless you all.
Words to live by. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Care, can you hit end stream? I can't.
Yeah, I just was wondering that.